thing that we're trying to
Good
do.
evening, and welcome to the 7th Annual Newman Global Initiative for Mental Health and Addiction. We have held this event since 2016, and as you have seen on the TV screens, this year we are raising funds for a women-focused program. My name is Emma Rosso, and along with Mercedes Tobolo, we will be your MCs this evening. Let's open with a few words from the CARITAS president, Mr. Anthony Di Battista.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here this evening to represent CARITAS with Life. I want to start off by thanking the Newman Global Initiative for this event. It's been a few years now, so I don't understand behind me. It's a few years we've been doing this, and every year I get more and more inspired by such a great young group of people, young men and women, who are taking the initiative to promote, to speak about, to promote the awareness of mental health and addiction. It's very inspiring. God bless you. I want to acknowledge the Associate Minister of Mental Health and Addiction is here this evening, Michael Tobolo. We have Councillor Sandra Young-Bracco here with us. Incoming Regional Councillor Mary Oracco. And we have a board member here with us this evening, Brian Roman in the back there. CARITAS is an amazing organization that's been helping people for 35, 36 years now. And there's two ladies in this room tonight who are the heart and soul of this organization. And they deserve acknowledgement. So Tobolo and Frank and Willie. I cannot thank these two enough for what they do. If it wasn't for you two, I don't think CARITAS would be here today. So thank you. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for all the lives you're helping save. I've been involved with CARITAS for over 16 years now. And about 10 years ago, we realized there's a challenge with mental health and addiction in women. And what used to be 3 in every 4 phone calls being a male, and 1 being female, turned into 2 and 2, 3 and ultimately like every second phone call calls a female in distress. And we are thrilled, we're overwhelmed and excited to announce that we've opened up a day program for women just over a month ago. This is a long time coming. It's been a dream for us at CARITAS. A dream that started off to help people. Came initially with men and now with women. And it's overwhelming as a board member, as a chairman, that we're able to do this today. Today at lunch, somebody asked me, the gentleman who donated, they actually paved the driveway to our property. And we met today to discuss it. And discussing how we can compensate them, and he said, listen, I don't need the money. If you guys have a little bit of money, I'm not going to say no. If the organization needs it, don't worry about it. It's my pleasure to help out. Then he looked at Brian and I and said, why do you guys do it? Why do you do what you do, devote your time to this organization? And as he's asking me that question, I started thinking back over the last 16 years. And of course I get emotional because that's who I am. And I think about all the people that I've met in this program who came in at the lowest point of their life, and 2 years later walked out rejuvenated, like with a purpose and on a mission. Like this organization has saved hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lives, and we're just thrilled that we can offer that same opportunity to the women today. So I'm going to conclude now and just thank these young ladies and men around me here, and what you're doing is very inspiring. Keep it up. This is how we're going to help fix this problem. It's young people like you we're our future. So thank you for what you do, and God bless you.
At this time, I will now turn it over to the Minister of Mental Health and Addiction, the Honorable Mr. Tobolo.
Hi everyone, it's great to be here this evening, and I can't believe it's 7 years already. How this just started with the kids wanting to do something, and it's actually grown into an important part of CARITAS and the work that they do. So I want to say on behalf of myself, thank you. You know, a lot of people look to government and say, well, you got to do more, you got to do more. I invested $525 million this year in mental health and addiction supports, another $90 million in addiction treatment, addiction recovery treatment. So 400 beds, 7,000 treatment spots. And still, we need more. Government can't do it by itself, you know, as much as we think, because at the end of the day, it's our money, right? Money comes in and we have to figure out what to do with it, where to invest it. I've advocated, and that's why I came to government, is because I saw government wasn't doing enough. And so we created something called the Roadmap to Wellness. If you haven't seen it, you should read it, because it really tries to address all the issues that need to be addressed. But you still need human resources, so you need to train people, because we don't have enough workers. You need spaces, so you need to build. And you've got to look at also the most important part of any treatment is, what do you do when a person comes out of treatment? You need to have supports, you need to have housing, you need to have all kinds of things that ensures that that person isn't going to be on that treadmill and going around and around and around and starting all over again every time the person has a problem. So if we really want to help people, we've got to look at the social determinants of health. And people say, well, are you really a conservative that you talk that way? Well, you know, to be a conservative means that you want to see everybody with a job and everyone happy. And if you have a job and you have a roof over your head, whether you want to call me a conservative, you want to call me whatever you want to call me, at the end of the day, it's all about doing what's right for the people that you represent. And I can tell you that the time that I've spent in government, there have been days, and I'm sure if you were watching TV today, you would have seen, we're having to make some really difficult decisions. You know, we're using a notwithstanding clause in the charter to do something that a lot of people are saying you shouldn't be doing. But who's standing up for the kids? Who's going to make sure that these kids have their day in school? And you can say, well, yeah, but you know what, a day off here, a day off. Let's not forget that these kids have had 2.5 years of instability, unknowns. And a lot of the issues that you're seeing now, the behaviors that you're seeing in adults with children, right? You're hearing today, I'm sure you heard your memo, the problems are that 13 or 14 teachers didn't go to work today because they're scared, they're afraid. Now, what are they afraid of? What's changed, right? Our behaviors have changed. And so that all leads back to issues of mental health. So when we talk about, you know, how we look after our physical health, what are we doing about looking after our mental health? Because a lot of times addictions are as a result of underlying mental health issues that started as a result of issues that we can't deal with by ourselves. Anxiety, depression, right? A lot of kids, I'm really glad to see them here, because a lot of kids today with eating disorders, I mean, these didn't exist when I was a kid, or they were so few and far between. What's happened that all of a sudden they've become prominent? What's happened with respect to the use of social media? What was supposed to be something helping us, and now it's become an addictive behavior as well that's causing other issues. So we've got a lot of work to do as parents. You guys as kids are doing incredible work by being dedicated and showing that you care, because what you're doing is you're building the foundations for the work that has to be done, the advocacy that has to be done to make sure that kids are the advocates for themselves. You can help another kid a lot easier than someone like me can help a kid, right? Because you relate to each other a lot better than you can relate to an old guy, as my kids constantly remind me. So what I want to say to you is thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for being leaders because leadership is not easy, right? Sometimes you have to stand alone when you advocate, but don't be afraid to advocate. Be strong, be focused, move forward, and do it with conviction, because when you do it that way, you'll get a lot of people that want to follow you. Look at all the adults that are following what you guys did 7 years ago, right? We're all here, why? It's not just about the money, it's because you guys are doing something incredibly important, incredibly powerful, and you're making a difference in saving lives. So, thank you very much. I'm going to stop because I could go on for hours. But anyways, I'm really glad to see all you here. Thank you for helping these kids do what they're doing. And thank you for choosing CARITAS, because you all know there's a special place in my heart too for CARITAS, the work that they do. And the fact that that's probably why I'm in government, because I took a turn in my career as a lawyer, and I took a turn in my career when Father Camparelli, the guy who founded this 47 years ago, where he got tired, couldn't do it anymore. And I got the chance to spend some time with some people. Some of them have gone on and are in great shape. They've got careers, they've got houses, they write stories, because they came through the other side. But I'm not doing it just for them, I'm doing it for the ones that didn't get to the other side, because there were gaps in our system, because the government didn't realize or didn't recognize the importance of having a continuum of care and making sure that every person counts. And what you're doing is making sure that every person counts. So God bless you all. Thank you so much for being here, and keep up the good work. I look forward to coming back next year.
Tonight we welcome one of our speakers who will share the challenges of being a student athlete. Let's give it up for Sebastian Cirillo.
Good evening, everybody. 5:30 a.m. Time to wake up, brush my teeth, and get in some breakfast to make it for the ring for 6:30. We're to be dressed and on the ice at 7 a.m. sharp and no later. Otherwise, coach will throw a fit. It's an hour of conditioning drills until 8 a.m., an hour of skating technique from 8 a.m. through 9 a.m., and we finish the session off with some high-paced puck drills before arriving at 10 a.m. Once getting off the ice, I have about 4.5 minutes to get in a sip of water, take a quick shower. This leaves me enough time to beat traffic and make it to my 11 a.m. sociology lecture. After listening to Professor Kennedy's bit on Marx for just about 3 hours, I find myself enough time to squeeze in a sandwich before I drive to Aurora to make it to my 3:30 team practice. A couple hours pass, the whistle blows, and I immediately wake my way to get changed and go home to meet my family for dinner at 6:30. After an hour of good food and conversation, I find myself working on my sociology essay due the following morning. As I'm finishing up with the closing arguments of the essay, I check my phone and see it's already 11 o'clock at night. I quickly conclude and send my paper in. Finally, I can make my way to bed. By the time I get into my sheets though, I pick up my phone to sign off for the night and boom, the notification hits my phone. Reading American History paper due tomorrow at 7 a.m. I had forgotten all about it. I'm so tired, the current time on my phone reads 1:40 in the morning and I can't even remember my own name. I am in trouble. Good evening, everybody. My name is Sebastian Cirillo, and I'm a former student athlete who appreciates the potential hardships that many kids and parents struggle with on a daily basis. My experience playing a high level of hockey has helped me understand the different forms of mental illness prevalent in many young student athletes and their parents today. Mental illness could be a derivative of anxiety and mental stress created in a hectic working environment, and oftentimes these illnesses are ignored. Kids and parents, this is not uncommon. There have been many famous athletes such as Olympic stars Michael Phelps and Lindsey Vonn, as well as great tennis superstar Serena Williams, who have experienced mental illness in some way, shape, or form. It is important that we as both children and adults open up about these experiences with one another in order to find a better way to compartmentalize our lives and keep ourselves mentally healthy. Communication is the key, and to demonstrate its importance, I will close with a quote from the great Michael Phelps. We all want the best version of ourselves, and talking to a therapist, being vulnerable, opening up about what you're dealing with, it only helps. Nobody can deal with life all alone. Thank you, everybody.
Before we turn it over to our hosts Matthew, Eric, and Nicole Newman, and Ilaria Di Battista, we would like to thank the following: Cavallino Wine Bar, West Village Dentistry, Brea Foods, Frank and Tony Rosso, Clearway Construction, Steph Rosso Event Planning, The Artist Miss, Tony Two Cuts Landscaping, Finch Center Jewelers, Da Vinci Flowers, and Matt.
Awesome to see you all here this evening. In fact, we have some members of the royal family here. We have the Sausage King, John Rea, and the Princess Pepperoni, Mike Rea. We have God's most eligible bachelor, Tony Rosso, and Italian Donald Trump, also known as Tony Battista. There's a Japanese proverb that says, "Fall 7 times, stand up 8." Anthony, Silvana, and the CARITAS team, you are an inspiration to us because of your commitment to such an important cause. It is said that people may doubt what you say, but believe what you do. And we are truly appreciative and believe in what you do. Thank you all for the continued support and strong sense of community that you have had for our small initiative since 2016. Tonight, we will talk about the challenges that women face with substance use and highlight how the Fundraiser evening will help go to a relatively new program at CARITAS. In the past, women themselves were not able to participate in research studies because of the belief that women were more biologically complicated than men and that they were too busy taking care of their children. Federal agencies have been instrumental in pushing for women to be part of more clinical research. These efforts ensure that broader public health issues related to sex and gender are studied. Scientists themselves realize that women who use drugs commonly have issues related to menstrual cycle, fertility, pregnancy, and breastfeeding. In addition, women themselves describe unique reasons for using drugs, such as controlling weight, fighting exhaustion, and self-treating mental health issues. Nicole?
Rainy Brar said, "Real change, enduring change, happens one step at a time." CARITAS has taken that step for women. By the way, it was Ruth Bader Ginsburg who said that. Women face unique issues when it comes to substance use. These issues are influenced by sex and gender. Research has found many differences in how women and men use substances and react to them. For example, women use drugs in smaller amounts than men, yet they can experience the effects more strongly. Using drugs while pregnant can harm the health of a pregnant woman and her fetus. More women are using marijuana during pregnancy than in past years, which could result in smaller babies. It can be difficult for a woman to get help for their substance use problem during or after pregnancy because of social or legal fears. In a review of Canada's best practices for substance use, it was concluded that women have a greater stigma attached to their substance use problem than men. In addition, women also experience greater resistance on the part of family and friends, and more negative consequences attached to treatment entry. The negative consequences attached to treatment entry are compounded for women by family responsibilities, lack of child care facilities, job loss, anger from spouse, loss of friends, and other adverse impacts on a woman's well-being. Treatment programs must take these issues into consideration and offer job training, parenting classes, and child care. Eric?
Let me start off by saying thank you to Steph Rosso for donating her vintage Gucci purse collection to next year's event. And the Honorable Mr. Tobolo for pledging his cigar collection. The United States government and business community are increasingly starting to recognize the negative effects that substance abuse has on our nation's workforce and the U.S. economy. The abuse of drugs and alcohol is costly and, left untreated, places a burden on our workplace, our healthcare systems, and our communities. Several reports highlight the harmful effects that substance abuse has on a business's productivity and competitiveness, as it also increases absenteeism and workplace injuries. The following data provides us with a stark illustration of what substance abuse has done to our society. The economic cost for drug abuse in the United States was $193 billion in 2007. Today, our best guess is $250 billion, plus an additional $120 billion in lost productivity. This is mainly due to incarceration, participation in drug abuse, and premature death. Ilaria?
Girls and women tend to use tobacco, alcohol, or other drugs to improve their mood, increase confidence, reduce tension, cope with problems, lose inhibitions, and enhance weight loss. These emotional and social factors can keep them in a detrimental cycle in the absence of more adaptive and support and changes. Sexual abuse and physical abuse, which are experienced more often by girls than boys, are strongly related to problems with substance abuse. Girls who have been sexually abused are more likely to use and misuse substances and to use them earlier, more often, and in greater quantities. Violence in the lives of women and children is widespread. Substance use problems, mental health issues, and physical health problems can all be related to victimization in both direct as well as complex, indirect, mutually reinforcing ways. Illicit substance uses and other self-harming behaviors are often directly linked to the experience of trauma, violence, and abuse. Substance problems also arise from using substances as mechanisms to cope with chronic pain, gynecological difficulties, stress, anxiety, panic, dissociation, and depression, which are also connected to experiences of victimization. Substance use and mental health problems may also work to put women at greater risk of victimization. In the case of violence, as for most health and social indicators, Aboriginal women are more severely affected. The mortality rate due to violence against Aboriginal women is 3 times that for non-Aboriginal women, and hospital admissions for alcohol-related accidents are 3 times higher among Aboriginal females. What we have highlighted here this evening is only a small summary, but we hope it captures the importance of the new CARITAS Women-Centered program. My name is Ilaria, and I have grown up around CARITAS. My father is the chairman, and my mother has hosted many fundraising events for CARITAS and helps the program in any way that she can. I have seen firsthand many people go through the program and seen how it has changed their lives and their families' lives in such a positive way. I truly believe in the program, and that is why I am up here today. As someone whose family has supported CARITAS for over 10 years, I truly thank you all for being here tonight. We finally have a program at CARITAS that allows women the opportunity to write their own story ending. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Mercedes Tobolo, and as many of you are aware, we at the Newman Global Initiative honor a few individuals every year for their efforts with mental health and addiction. Tonight, our first Community Hero recipient award goes to someone who has dedicated what seems like a lifetime to this cause. This individual is key to keeping the CARITAS initiative going, from fundraising to helping to facilitate resources and much more. Let's give it up for Mr. Anthony DiBattista.
That's not going to go down if I hand it out.
Hey, you're the big salon.
Our second recipient is Franca Grilli. Franca has been helping change lives. Franca has been helping change lives at CARITAS School of Life for the last 12 years. Franca has been fundamental in program coordination, fundraising, and administration services for CARITAS. Franca's influence can be seen in the success of many graduates of CARITAS. Our third recipient is Sylvana Tobolo. Sylvana Sylvana began her service to CARITAS approximately 10 years ago. During this time, Sylvana has been the driving force of many fundraising activities like the annual telethon, the cultivation of an apple orchard, and many gala events. Currently, Sylvana has continued her work through program coordination, educational visits in the GTA, and fundraising partnerships. Let's put our hands together for Sylvana. Lastly, we will now present the second annual Reyes Salami Community Award. This individual has raised approximately $1,500 for Megan's Hug earlier in the year and is the first two-time winner of this award. Mr. Crypto, Mr. Investment Banking, Eric Newman.
Now I feel like Superman.
Do you have anything to say?
Well, I know I'm the first time two-time winner, two-time only winner. I don't know. My brother and sister have done a lot of great things. And so I know this is your first time doing it, but you did a great job.
And we're going to conclude the talking portion of tonight with some giveaways. We have some Leafs tickets, Raptors tickets, and then we also have the grand prize, which is by the artist Mist, which is seen behind me. Mist is a Toronto-born and raised artist in a multidisciplinary way who brings canvases to life with a unique, redefined perspective on the old and the new. Mist is passionate about philanthropic causes, mental wellness through the arts, and community spirit. We thank Mist today for partnering with the Newman Global Initiative.
Aside from the Newman Initiative that is here volunteering their time with this great effort, I know there's a lot of young people in the crowd. So those of you that are looking for community service hours, if you are ever in need, give us a call at CARITAS because we have a lot of envelopes to stuff and things like that. As well, to the adults in the room, we have two different boards that we have at CARITAS. One for the School of Life, one for the Foundation. Applications are on our website, so please check it out. And thank you for your participation here tonight.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the night, and I was just told there's cake.
I forgot to mention one thing, and it's going to give you a lot of grief if I don't say it when I get home tonight. So the next event that's happening for CARITAS is on December 1st. It's at Michael Kors and in Yorkdale. And Michael Kors is offering 25% off everything in the store to anybody who attends. They're going to have DJ and some entertainment going on. And then additional 15% is going to be donated back to CARITAS. So if you're available and you need to do some Christmas shopping, not only are you going to get a good discount from Michael Kors, but they're also supporting their cause. And this is the 5th year that Michael Kors has been doing this for us. So hopefully I will get to see you all then.
A great time. That's their Christmas presents from Dad, and they have a great time because it's really, they bring in tons of staff. Nobody has to wait for anything, and you feel like you're just being treated like a king and a queen all night long. So I encourage everybody to come out.